Well, hello, fellow babies. We are the Shills, and this is the Silly Shill Show. Tonight, we got a whole bowl of stupid coming at you, garnished with a lovely dose of debunking. You're gonna love it. Joining us tonight, we've got the Casual Spaceman. Awesome stuff. And a surprise last-minute guest, we got Glober Mom as well. Fantastic stuff. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right around the panel and see what everybody's up to. Anti-Flatter coming at us from the future. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, kia ora, my bro. Everything's doing all good here. How you getting on, man?
Oh, good here. Everything's very good today. I'm loving it, actually, and I can't wait to get this going. What's, big season finale coming up, right?
Yeah, so, you're going to give me shit for not saying the UTC time, but it's 7 p.m. future time. My season finale, which is also a collab with Steaming Cup of Reasons, going to be premiering. And people can try and figure out what the UTC time for 7 p.m. New Zealand is.
All right. So, yeah, check it out. 7 p.m. Christchurch to UTC. You'll get it figured out. No problem, people. I mean, God forbid we ask him to do it for us, right? I'm just kidding, man. And let's check in with Jutmonkthedrunk. I had to ding you. Let's check in with Jutmonkthedrunk Monkey, man. How's it going, buddy?
Oi, fucking oi, mate. Sound as a pound.
Awesome. What's happening your way? What's coming in new and cool?
Well, if all goes to plan and I get everything done, on Wednesday, I'm going to have a little bit of a celebration for hitting 500 subs. So I'm going to have a premiere, my first ever premiere, and then I'm going to have a live stream party.
Oh, lovely. That sounds amazing. Woohoo! Yeah, partying it up drunk style with the monkey.
Other than that,
awesome.
Not a lot else in the pipeline yet, but it's all going to be coming because I got to get back into the swing of things.
Right on, man.
The fucking trees.
Right on. And let's swing over and check with Kevin Kennedy. What's happening in your space, buddy?
I like turtles. That's it. Complete silence? Nothing? Nobody?
What?
Oh,
I was on mute. I was laughing, damn you.
that was the most disappointing thing I've ever done on a stream. That was more disappointing than trying to pretend that pouring Coke into a glass was Riley pissing.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I gotta stop trying to make jokes.
No, it was good. It was good, Kevin.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself. So, video-wise and creation-wise and stuff, what are you up to?
Good amount of stuff. I'm taking a short break from conspiracy stuff to do a pair of videos on how video games taught me cosmology and orbital mechanics. So that's going to be coming up soon. I think I'm going to do it in 2 parts for 2 different games. Which is Elite Dangerous and Kerbal Space Program. Elite Dangerous is amazing, by the way. If anybody wants to see cool screenshots from that game, keep an eye on my Twitter because I'm heading toward the center of the galaxy, and then I'm going to go up, and hopefully I'll be able to look down on the entire galactic plane, and I think that'll be a really interesting view.
Wow, that will be cool. Awesome. Great idea, man. Love it. Awesome. Cool. And let's swing right over to Cave Town and check out what Logical Troglodyte is up to. How's it going, man?
Hey, we're busy in the Temple of Wisdom over in the Logic and Reason channel. Jeff and I are preparing and locking and loading to do battle with the anti-vaxxers. Joining us will be Linda Bertelson and Bob the Science Guy. That's right, we have Dr. Bob and Linda herself going to be helping us do battle with the evil conspirators in the Conspiracy Wars. That will be airing noon GMT tomorrow morning.
Oh, man, that sounds awesome. I can't wait to see that. Awesome. Right on. And how about we swing right over to your partner on the show, Steaming Cup of Reason. How's it going, buddy?
It's going really good, man. Like Logical said, we're going to have a great show. Going to take a real close look at the anti-vaxxers and show them just how wrong they are. And as Logical said, Bob, the Science Guy, and Linda Bertelson are going to be helping us out with that. And for my fellow collab Anti-Flatter. The airtime for the collab that we have just finished will be at 6 a.m. UTC. For all of those of you who
Sure,
are
bro.
wondering. It's it's going to be wicked, man. It's going to be epic. You guys don't want to miss it. That's it.
Mr. Dawson.
Oh my God,
Oh,
we lost a
am I
dick.
gone?
There-
Am I
oh,
back?
No.
Am I back?
Yeah,
I
we lost.
leaned on that damn fucking button that hangs on the cable again. Oops. Okay. And I got it. It's all under control. Let's check in with our producer, Tattie-Bogle. How's it going, buddy? How you feeling today, man?
All right, troops. Okay, having fun. Had a wee bit of a relaxing day today, and I've hived off a wee bit of video duty onto Anti-Flatter. So one of the videos we do have lined up is courtesy of himself, and just to top it off, I thought I can't do it. Let him do it all himself. So we're having a wee revisit of a video that was recently shown on a pub chat because we didn't even get halfway through it.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait. That sounds amazing. He's got us set up well, folks. You got to love it. That's awesome. Thanks, buddy. And let's swing over. Running the show tonight's Aimee Hogan. How's it going your way, Aimee?
It's great. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, good. How are, what are you up to? How are things? Seen anything cool lately,
Haven't seen any good Flat Earth videos lately, but that's to be given. But
Yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for coming today, and I want to thank our guests for coming as well. So thank you very much, everyone.
Perfect timing as always. Guests indeed. Surprise guest for the evening. We got Glober Mom with us tonight. Hey, Glober Mom. Welcome to the show. How's it going? Hello, Glober Mom. Did we lose you? Well, she's still in the meet,
Mom.
so...
Mommy!
Oh, now there's a mute. Okay, we'll give her a minute. You never know what's going on in life. Oh, maybe she's back?
Mom,
She-
talk to me.
She was there for a second.
I want a hug.
Well,
Come back,
let's
Mom.
turn to the Casual Spaceman, and then we'll check with Glober Mom in a minute. So, Casual Spaceman, hey, how was the stream over at Mr. Sensible's? Must have been a great time, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sick, but I'm sitting here with a smile on the face like a 16-year-old that's just lost his cherry. I really am.
That's a good one.
So cool talking to a real bona fide NASA engineer from the Project Gemini and Apollo and Skylab era, and that was just awesome. Really was.
Wow. That must have been. I can't wait to watch it after. I was so busy before the show, there was no chance I could. But I can't wait because it must have been so good.
Yeah, it was really good. We had problems at the start trying to get him on with his sound and stuff like that, but we managed to finally work it out. And we got him using his phone, and after a while, it was clear. So we didn't get as much time with him as we think we'd hoped to have done. I still like to ask a lot more questions. Mr. Sensible is planning another a bit of time with him as well. So I'm hoping, Mr. Sensible, thank you very much for having me on that time, but I'm hoping you can invite me on again for the next time, please. Please.
Nice, man. Nice. I can't wait to watch it. And I really suggest everybody watching this right now, when you're done, head over to Mr. Sensible's channel and check this out. Because if you didn't catch it live, it's so going to be worth to watch. Absolutely. Let's see if... Oh, sorry?
No, I was just saying it followed on from a premiere that Mr. Sensible did with Anthony Riley, when he mentioned the big pressure chamber, and the reason why he got involved was because he noticed that this gentleman was commenting in his chat, and he contacted him because he seemed to know what he's talking about, and then found out his background, and that's how it all came about, really. So watch the premiere first about Anthony Riley, and then go on to the live show, and you'll all sort of connect on. That's just what I say about that.
Perfect. Well, hey, he was there. He knows, right? So that's the way it's got to be done, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. Let's check with Glober Mom. Are you there now? I wonder if we got Glober Mom back yet. We might have an issue over her way. Might be an internet thing or something. I'm not really sure.
Come back, Mom. Come back, Mom.
Hey, Dick.
Yeah.
I've noticed another anomaly going on here. Spaceman, he's not being picked up by the subtitles, and he's the only one for some reason. And I think it must be because whatever transcribes the subtitles is located outside of his suit, and sound doesn't travel through a vacuum.
That's very, very possible, Kevin. Very possible.
I think what we need is maybe some subspace communications. Like Spaceman, come on, get on it. You're the guy, right?
Yeah, I'll get my designers on it, and we'll sort it. We'll work it out. Don't worry.
We just got a little message there from Glober Mom in the background. She's having some computer issues, so she'll probably give it a restart or whatever. We'll see how it goes, and we'll get her on here as soon as we can. So what can you do, right? Technology, oh yeah, it makes the world better, all right.
Seriously.
Typical, isn't it? We've been chatting to her right up until the build-up of the show. The show starts, and then the Flurf run YouTube decides to tear the arse out of her.
Yeah, it must be an attack from the Flurfs. That's how I see it.
Absolutely.
Right?
See, here's the issue. We've got this super awkward show here because technology is failing us constantly. And here's my question: how did we land robots on the moon? I don't believe it. How did we send them to Mars? I don't believe it. It must be a hoax.
Stop it. Don't go there, Kevin.
Yeah, okay. I'm booking a flight right now. I'm coming to talk to you.
Looks like Glober Mom is back.
Yeah, Glober Mom, are you there now?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yay!
I was having
Glober Mom.
I had a mute issue. It was like delay, lag. So I took the buzz button, put it on my phone. I think that was my issue.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, there's just something in the interwebs that it wasn't liking. But yeah, okay. Yeah, you're here. So that's great. So how's things? What's happening your way? What's new and exciting? Tell us all.
Well, I've been working on my 333 sub special.
Yay.
And, the first installment will be out on Wednesday. So
Cool.
Thankfully, after about a month of working on it, but
Nice.
Anyway, but it was one of those I couldn't decide what to do. I finally hit on it and went from there. So yeah,
I know
It'll be out
those.
Wednesday.
I know those moments so well that I think that's why we just turned this into a live off-the-cuff show, because then that way we didn't have to go through it.
There you go. That works.
Yeah, okay, great. So we've got everybody here that's supposed to be here. We've done it. It's awesome. All right. So moving forward, before we get into the video, has anybody found anything uniquely stupid, cringeworthy, blah, blah, blah they'd like to bring up and share? It's always a good time in the beginning because you get some really good giggles if there was something good found. These days, I find that finding that really good gem content where they've got something you can destroy and point and laugh at the same time is getting pretty rare. I think that's why we see so much of that guy being debunked right now.
I don't know if most of you, some of you might have actually seen, but I think it was something that AB Science posted about people sunbathing their buttholes. Did you see that on Twitter?
Jesus.
Yeah.
What in the hell?
Yeah. Apparently, if you expose your butthole to the sun for 40 minutes a day, you'll get somebody giggling. Apparently, it's supposed to improve your health.
Sorry, what was that? Exposing your butthole.
Yeah.
Oh,
my God. For 40 minutes a day.
Oh my God.
Maryland Spirit level would do.
Yeah, can you imagine you go to the beach and it just looks like a whack-a-mole table? What the hell's going on?
Jeff Spiker did a terrible thing.
I really hope they put some sunscreen on, because that shit's gonna hurt if that fucking sunburns.
Logical, you had something there.
Oh yeah, I found myself a really interesting stupid last night on a channel called After School. This guy is mixing a lot of good science with with some woo, but he does it in such a way that you have to stop and think, and you really got to pay attention. And I really like those much more than the idiots like that guy. I mean, come on, you know. But so this guy is trying to say that 150,000 years or more ago, there were ancient civilizations that influenced the Incans, the Mayans, the Sumerians, but we don't know about them because, and then he throws in all the bunch of science, you know, and confuses the hell out of his audience. But he's presenting it in like a lecture format, really trying to present himself as if he's a real scientific lecturer, claims to be, you know, an expert in geology and anthropology and all these different sciences, to the point where he'd have to have like 12 different PhDs. And when I looked him up on the internet, I found out, yeah, he's an architect.
Really?
Yeah, you know, but I like these ones like this because they make you think. They make you really pay attention. Because if you're not paying attention, you might say, "Oh, really?" You know. So yeah, this is a lot of fun for somebody like me.
Nice, I bet. Absolutely, absolutely. And it was really good timing there because I wasn't really sure where we were going with that other little thing that had started.
What? Never mind. I'm lost. I'm confused. I don't know what's going
things got
on
a
anymore.
little dirty there for a minute, and you jumped in perfect timing, so that was awesome.
Yeah, you kind of saved the day from the 10 shitstorm we were going for.
Yeah. No. See, you're already directing us back there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Somebody needs to get control of this thing.
You did ask, though, Dick. You did ask.
Yeah, I know. It's always me too. It just keeps working out that way. I'm trying to avoid it. You know, I don't want to be the one that always ends up talking about donkey sex or something.
Do you guys hear that?
What's wrong with donkey sex?
Jesus Christ.
Well, nothing for donkeys, I guess.
Monetization.
Do you guys hear that? It's the sound of Brainy Beaver over the horizon yelling something about incest.
Oh my God, or cousins or whatever it was that time. Jesus Christ. So okay, here, wait a minute. I'm seeing that maybe we've lost Glober Mom, so this might be an ongoing issue. We're gonna let her pop in and out and see if she can. Oh no, she's back. Okay.
I'm back. It froze up on me, so.
Yay.
Okay. Gee whiz, we're gonna have to kick that to the curb, man. You know, or whatever they say in you know, daytime TV shows. I don't really watch them, so I don't know. I'm wondering if we shouldn't now, Tattie, you've got the video queued up that is the continuation of the one that we already did some attack on. Is that correct?
I can do that one for you, most certainly.
Yeah, because then that way, you know, if the panel says, yeah, this is cool, we'll go for it, then we'll dig in. But if everybody goes, no, what the hell, we've got some other one, right, too, right?
Yep, we've got another one.
Dick.
Okay. Because
by any chance, is that video the one that started with truth doesn't matter?
You know me too well.
Oh, that video. 4 words in and it was wrong.
Yep. Yep, if you remember correctly, we had a certain Mr. Colon to thank for it, and I do believe he is in the chat after his sterling efforts with Mr. Sensible Steam tonight. So, thank you very much, Colin. I had a great time putting this together.
Thanks, Colin.
What else do you thank your colon for if it isn't a lump of shit, right? It makes sense, doesn't it? Well, what do you say, Daddy? Let's cue it up and get into it a bit and see what the hell comes out of this.
Okay, then, folks. Hang on to your hats.
All right. Here we go, everybody. Oh, I forgot to dumb that down. Oops. Oh, well. This is cool.
Truth doesn't matter. What matters is the image.
Physicists want to control everything. Yeah. They want their theories to rule the universe. It's a religion, is what it is. It's destructive religion.
The world has gone after Aristotle and his moronic, materialistic teachings, like Darwin and Newton and Einstein, And all these will go down in history once they're revealed as buffoons. We've all been sucked in by it. We've all been drawn in by the lies, because the bigger you tell them, the harder people fall.
The Coriolis effect states that when a moving object leaves the ground, the Earth continues to rotate, meaning that when shooting a gun at a certain distance, the bullet would be a little off due to the Earth's rotation. If that's the case, then airplanes would have to account for the Coriolis effect, but they don't. Or is it easier to use Occam's razor and go with what our senses are telling us? The Earth is flat and not spinning.
Oh, the pain. Oh.
And now
why does stupid have to hurt so much?
Yeah. Get your oven mitts ready, people. It's coming in hard on this one. Fuck.
Pause.
We should make Colin join us for this.
Yeah, because the pilots are fucking steering. Goddamn.
we have to start. We have to pause already because I'm getting like Vietnam flashbacks from the previously thing, man. Like we were in the shit and Charlie was everywhere.
You weren't there, man. You don't know.
So you have no idea how much I chuckled putting that wee bit together, because
that was awesome.
That was everything I was hoping for and more.
Yeah. Oh, it worked. You know, Kevin's about to explode, so.
I feel like you did that with me in mind, and right now I need someone to come over to my jar and pour some cold water in, or I'm gonna explode.
Cold vodka. Yeah, get Yuri to top you up, man.
No one mentioned that word. I just got him down for a sleep.
Excuse me. I heard someone say vodka.
No.
Oh no!
Oh, here we go.
Is Yuri here?
No.
I
Go
must
back to
speak with
sleep.
Yuri.
Okay? Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. I want to talk to Dean. No. Sleep.
We'll find them.
Down. All right, he's going back down. Fuck, that was just too close.
I got a little bit like English or Irish at the end of that there.
If you could say to Yuri, happy St. Andrew's Day, because he is the patron saint of Russia, as well as the patron saint of Scotland.
Oh, I never knew that.
That is true.
Oh, interesting.
So what is he, the patron saint of countries that drink a lot? What the hell?
Hell yeah. Also Greece.
Patron saint of intoxication.
Yeah. He skipped the Greeks because they were too loud, but otherwise he would have been there too.
Funny you should mention them, because I do believe he might very well be in Greece as well.
Oh, really? That's funny. He's definitely the god of percentages, man. Well, what do you think, guys? Shouldn't we go to the? Let's go to the video. Let's go to the video.
Yeah.
Should we discuss the point he made?
Oh, yes. We did actually pause for a reason, not to just goof around. Does anybody want to address it?
Sorry, but St. Andrew is the patron saint of Greece and Italy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, in regards to what he's saying, all you need to do is say, be in a car. Does a bee in a car realize that the car is moving 60 kilometers an hour? No, it doesn't.
That's right.
End of.
Hey, exactly.
Yeah. You do this one. You get in a car or in a van, make it easier. Toss a peanut up in the air and catch it in your mouth. Did the peanut smash against the back window? No.
There you go.
Right? Done. Next. That's it. Like, and anybody can afford a peanut. So, do the experiment there, Mr. Daniel Pratt and followers. You know what I mean? Logical, you're up.
Yeah, if you notice the language that he's using, and most flat earthers do this when they're talking about Coriolis effect, they try to make it sound like the difference in a bullet traveling or a plane or somebody jumping off the ground is freaking humongous. It's not. It's a little bit. And there's such a thing called called conservation of momentum. So when I jump, guess what? The momentum of my traveling along with the rotation of the Earth is carried with me in my upward jump. And planes do correct for it. It's called a fucking steering wheel, or a joystick, or whatever the hell you want to call it. There's pilots who are steering the goddamn plane. And that's how they can land perfectly every damn time, because they're professionals. They know what the fuck they're doing.
But it's almost like these people also don't seem to understand that 15 degrees per hour adrift, it really is not that fast. It's just that they keep using this spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. No, the Earth is not spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. It is rotating at 15 degrees per hour. I mean, you hold a ball up on your arm. You try and rotate that 15 degrees per hour. Flip me, you'll fall asleep quickly, wouldn't you? I mean, you just can't do it. It really isn't that fast, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to understand once you just take any, like a basketball, and then rotate it once every 24 hours, and then there you've got a scale of the speed. But scale in itself is a huge problem with this group of people, because this whole thing about airplanes having to point down to the curvature of the Earth. When you take the size of an airplane and you do it to scale on a ball the size of the Earth, it's over a flat surface, you fucking moron. It's just that simple. Come on, it's easy. There's a zoom out animation where they show a dude standing on a flat surface, and then they zoom out, and the dude disappears. They keep zooming, and eventually you can see that he was standing on a ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the hour hand of a clock has to rotate around the face of the clock twice. I mean, does that seem fast to you? No.
Yeah, exactly. So
no sense of scale at all. It's like the smallest ant you can find sitting on top of Epcot Center.
Yeah, don't get it at all, because to the ant, it's just a big flat surface.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, Tatty, what do you say? Let's let them dig the hole deeper. I mean, we barely got into it, and we've already had to pull out all the standard stuff. Let's hope it goes somewhere where we get a little bit of, chewing on the bone here. Oh. We'll hide that one. Yeah, we'll hide that one.
Oh, God. Explain an aircraft carrier then.
Yeah. This armchair logic shit. I hate it.
Weather is a constant blend.
I don't understand this claim because it happens all the time. Why do you need to physically see a satellite in order to verify that they exist? Why is that the requirement? I don't get it.
And if you really want to see a satellite, go out any given night and watch them go overhead. I do most nights, weather permitting. It's kind of cool.
Oh, geez.
You can see them with your naked eye if they're high enough and then they're reflecting the sun.
Look, I know they can turn around and claim that this is all CGI, but hang on. We did have a thing called the space shuttle that happened to launch several satellites, including captured one, which was called the Hubble Space Telescope. Okay, and you saw satellites being launched from that thing and captured. If you want to see it, there it is. But you're going to claim it's CGI. So it doesn't matter what we present, whether it's, photographs or movies of satellites. You're not going to accept it as anything but CGI anyway.
And Spaceman, because you brought up Hubble, I want to mention, here's a question. Why, if they're going to fake Hubble, why would they also fake fucking up Hubble's launch?
Exactly. That was a cock. Well, the launch itself wasn't a cock up.
No, it wasn't the problem. It was the lens. Yeah,
exactly. It was the lens. So absolutely. Yeah. Why the fuck would they want to do that? Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Jutmont, you wanted in, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Can you hear me? Okay.
Absolutely, bud.
Yeah, yeah. I
Absolutely,
just
man.
want to say, I mean, it just drives me absolutely fucking insane. These total idiots that just claim everything is fake. And they have to for their little fucking warped, weird, fucked up fantasy to fucking mean anything. It's all gotta be fake. It just fucking drives me insane. Like you said, you present them with evidence, fucking solid evidence. Now it's fake. You can't fucking win with these total morons.
No, and it doesn't matter what you produce; they always just come up with that crap anyway. Glober Mom, you want it in?
I was going to say, if everything is fake, then I want them to produce a video of their live birth. Because if I don't see that, then they are fake.
Yeah. No, don't.
God.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was born in 1989, and I'm just imagining my dad there with like a giant old VHS camcorder.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny, guys. Right on. Stevie Cup of Reason.
Yeah, it seems to me that the whole crux of the problem here, they're always accusing us of lying. Everything is CGI. Everything is fake. And yet when we present evidence, who's the one that's saying, nah, I don't like your truth. I only believe my own friggin' fantasy. Where's the lying coming from?
That's exactly the point, isn't it? That's exactly the point, too. You know, what could be more said? What more could be said, right? What do you think there, Tatty? Should go
I
on.
just
Sorry.
want to quickly say that I would just like to see one fucking picture of the ice wall, the dome, or the flat fucking plane.
Yeah.
Just one.
Right.
It just landed on the runway.
Well, Jutmonk, the plane is all around you, man. You just gotta trust your senses, but you've been indoctrinated into thinking that you're a monkey on a spinning ball, man.
I am a fucking monkey on a spinning ball and not.
I just love it when you get the biblical ones that do that. So you got to trust your senses. You know, they've got no pictures of the Earth, so therefore it can't be a globe because my invisible sky daddy told me so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no photos of the ice wall, no photos of the entire flat Earth, no photos or any samples or data of the dome. And funny enough, we've got all those things. Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear. Flat Earth confirmed.
That's funny. Right on. Well, what do you think there, Tatty? Fire up a little bit more of this misery and let's see how much we can try and get through anyway. It is funny. It is definitely funny.
Although ODD has that voice.
Weather is a constant blending of the basic elements: air, water, and sun. It all starts with the sun. This tremendous white-hot ball of gas, 750,000 miles across, supplies the power that drives our weather machine.
There's no fusion in the sun. They don't know how the sun works.
The sun is a gigantic atomic furnace, consuming itself at the rate of billions of pounds of matter per second.
It's not burning anything. It doesn't have to. It's a converter. Of what? I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's what...
We know how the fucking sun works.
You
son of a bitch.
Miserable old hippie motherfucker. You know what? Okay, and I cannot stress this enough. Boomer. That's what I have to say to that.
No. I didn't catch this guy's name. It was probably something like Papa, son of a beachy. I'm not sure. But I love that. Well, what is it then? Well, I don't know. I could tell you what it isn't, but I don't know what it is. Well, if you don't know what it is, how can you tell what it isn't? How does that work? How do you get knowledge? Only one side of it. It's so screwed up. Logical Troglodyte. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, here we got an old guy sitting in a car telling us that a documentary, and I'm assuming from the music and the narrating style, that it's probably sometime around 1960-ish, is wrong. Yeah, the only thing you got right is that, well, the sun isn't burning. You're absolutely fucking right. It's fusing. It's not burning. It's creating heat and energy because of fusion. It's fusing atoms together to create heavier and heavier elements. You dork.
Fucking
I love it. Casual Spaceman was waiting there.
You gotta keep up on Discord, Dick.
I was just going to say cancel it because you said what I was going to say. It's like typical. It's all right. Typical reaction, isn't it? I don't know what it is, but it isn't this. So what is it?
No,
then?
okay. I screwed that up. Damn it! I hate when I do that. Okay, Jutmonk, you're up, buddy.
Well, yeah, pretty much the same thing, I suppose. But it's like they're trying to debunk something without even really knowing about what they're fucking debunking. So they clearly just fucking make shit up. And they think that that's it, because it's just sort of like trust their fucking senses when they're absolutely fucking brainless and senseless anyway. How can someone senseless have fucking senses?
It makes perfect sense when he says it, right? I know Aimee was waiting to get in there. We better get to Aimee here.
Yes, please. Philosopher of Nonsense says, ask any flatard what the dimensions of Australia are, or to locate the GPS of the South Pole. They run away screaming from me when I ask. Chucky McNubbin says, those horses' butts think everything is fake because they really want to live in the Matrix, which would mean they could escape their petty, meaningless lives. He also, and then Fantarang says, I wonder if we took some of these flurfs to the South Pole and showed them 24-hour sun. They would just go completely into denial and refuse to accept reality.
I like that very much, very much. And I know Dead Kennedy was waiting to get in there too.
Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I remember now. I forgot for a second there. This is interesting that this is what he's doing, because earlier today, just for fun, I decided to rewatch a debate from back in the glory days of Nonsec between Aaron Ra and Jeranism. And Aaron's a bit of a contentious guy. I have issues with him. He's not perfect, but his interrogation of Jaren is kind of amazing, because there's probably 20 times during that debate where Aaron just goes, your position can't be you don't know what it is, but you know what it isn't. Your whole argument can't just be incredulity and I don't trust anybody.
Exactly.
Because that's exactly what this guy has.
Yeah.
That's what most of them seem to be like, actually. They don't want to accept what's fact, but they don't know what to come up with to try and fill that gap. So it's just I don't know, but I know you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a total defense move. Dr. Kruger, Dr. Dunning-Kruger, you're needed in psychotherapy stat. I mean, not looking good for the home team there. Speaking of which, should we let it run a bit more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. More stupid.
Yeah, everybody get their oven mitts out. Oh.
What it does, that's the only thing it can do, because that's our...
And the weather certainly influences our daily lives. Yes, we have always been at the mercy of weather. When the weather is nice, we are happy. If the weather is hot and muggy, we tend to be frustrated, irritable, and even criminal. But if the fog rolls in, we are apt to be depressed. Thunderstorms cause fear and apprehension. Icy winds and...
Wilbur Voliva, a famous flat earther in the early 20th century, gave
No.
lectures all over America
No.
against Newtonian...
Pause.
Why? For nothing else than just make him fucking stop. Oh, okay. Who actually wanted the pause? I just was getting angry.
Colon. I can no longer guarantee that I will not put a hit out on you.
Yeah, no doubt.
You told me you're a
sir.
family man, and that was a mistake because you told me that you have things that you can lose.
Yeah, we know people from New York, you know. You're going to get it.
I need to just chill out for a couple minutes because I cannot. I can handle him, but not right now. That little Hitler-loving son of a bitch.
No doubt. Let's get logical in here.
How in the hell do you segue from a psychological discussion on the effects of weather in the human psyche to Eric Dubay trying to debunk gravity? All I can say is, you're despicable.
That was awesome. Oh man, as soon as I heard that fucking punk's voice, oh man, that's just too much. But unfortunately, we have given Tatty control to bring this shit to pass. So, you know, everybody's gonna have to medicate and do it hard. Like go to your cabinets right now, take every bottle of cough syrup you have and down them as hard and fast as you can. And we can all regroup. I'll give you 20 seconds to do it, and we're gonna kick this video in and try to get through. So 20 seconds, go and kill as many brain cells as you can and make this tolerable.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna need a whole 10 liters of vodka if I hear that fucking dumbass Bay's voice again.
Oh, don't say vodka, you'll wake up.
He's an absolute fucking. He's drilled.
Andy, I told you, look, the Shills, they're wrong.
I've just come from talking probably to one of the smartest guys I've ever met, an actual NASA engineer coming to this. What the fuck happened?
What it is, you listen to NASA, it should be Roscosmos. Roscosmos is proper space agency.
Goddamn.
Let's see what Dead Kennedy's got to say to that.
Colon and Tatty, this is your fault. That's the sound of me lighting a cigarette.
I hear it.
Yeah.
I'm upset. Also,
if Colin and Tatty were to both visualize Dead Kennedy in space as Stewie from Family Guy right now, plotting to kill the mother, that's about what he's gonna do to you.
but also, now that I have that, now that it's lit, it's in my hand, I'm okay. I think I'm okay to get on with this video.
Okay, so that was the 20 seconds. Everybody.
There was what's there not? No, go away.
No, whiskey.
I swear to God, I don't know what it is about Shills resident being invaded by Russians, but you guys seriously have security issues around your homes. I don't know what's going on. It seems to be working for you, though, so I'll give you that.
We'll bury you.
Well, if your KGB ass is coming my way, bring the drinks because we'll sit down and have a few. So okay, everybody's got their face protection.
That's your main plan.
Well, there you go. See, he's spreading the love, one bottle of vodka at a time. So let's everybody get your bowl because there's word salad coming. We heard Dubay, right? Everybody get your oven mitt because you know it's coming. You saw what this video was already about. Tatty, spread the misery. Let it work, my man.
Bring it on, you little Nazi prick.
Begin by walking on stage with a book, a balloon, a feather, and a brick, and ask the audience, how is it that a law of gravitation can pull up a toy balloon and cannot put up a brick? I throw up this book, why doesn't it go on up? That book went up as far as the force behind it forced it, and it fell because it was heavier than the air, and that is the only reason.
I got some advice for him.
Throw up a toy balloon. It rises,
Kevin,
gets to a certain
your
height,
impression is
and then
up.
it begins to settle. I take this brick and a feather. I blow the feather. Yonder it goes. Finally, it begins to settle and comes down. This brick goes up as far as the force forces it, and then it comes down because it is heavier than the air. That is all. David Wardlaw Scott says, any object which is heavier than the air and which is unsupported has a natural tendency to fall by its own weight. Newton's famous apple at Woolsthorpe, or any other apple when ripe, loses hold of its stalk, and being heavier than the air, drops as a matter of necessity to the ground, totally irrespective.
Yeah, I had gotten up. I was about to kick my monitor to the floor, man.
Monitor, it's not its fault.
Yeah.
My asshole is bleeding.
If it's the natural tendency for an object to fall through the less dense medium, then it would fall up.
Yes.
Up. The air is thinner up.
Yes. If I let go of this pencil in my hand right now, in Dubé's world, it should go up. You fucking idiot. Well, unless there was wind blowing on one side of me, but not on the other, because then we could get like, a draw that way and maybe it would go sideways. But down is the last option.
Yeah, let me just try that. Hold on. No, definitely went down.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah. My God.
He's like the freaking village idiot standing out in the rain saying, "Why am I wet?"
I just can't believe how well he can speak with a dildo in his mouth. It's amazing. I mean, I can understand him. I don't get it. He's got a talent.
That takes true talent.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I've never heard that before. Well, what do you think, guys? Should we stomach a little bit more?
That was that.
Do we have to?
That was the end of the video. After that,
Oh, thank God.
Thank you. You're my new hero.
Yeah, Corliss.
Yes.
I got something that you can't refuse. We're going to have a talk in the morning.
We better switch over to Aimee. I know she had some viewer stuff for us.
Yes, please. Adam L. says, if the Earth is flat and there is a dome and it turns over our heads either way, what are the pressure-holding seals made of, and who is taking care of them? Cypher Zero says, I asked that guy for relative density meter. He said that's easy. You just measure the weight. I told him the weight couldn't be measured without gravity. Derp. Mr. Victory says, this is why all of Flurf Nation is just a bunch of Mary Sues. It's I am right. Everyone else is wrong. I don't need college because I am awesome. You know why. Reasons. And then Chucky McNubbin says, Jaren to everyone, trust your senses. After the documentary, Jaren says to everyone, I can't trust my senses. And Caddyshack Wizard says, hearing that Nazi's voice makes me feel like I just gave birth without an epidural. Painful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Dead Kennedy, what do you think? Did you want to start the roundtable final thoughts here on that catastrophe?
Saigon. Shit. Saigon. Time I think I'm gonna wake up and hear that fucker Dubé's voice again. I hate that man.
Yeah.
Oh,
God. Oh my God, I really hate that man.
Yeah, I broke into a cold sweat rage as soon as I heard the voice. I thought I was just gonna snap. Oh man, and I know you're worse when it comes to him than me. So I really thought that you might just explode out your own window. That'd be it. He's gone.
Kevin, just keep drinking. The pain will go away at the end of that bottle. Just keep drinking, buddy. You'll be all right.
The best thing Eric Dubé ever said was number 200.
Oh, that's a good one.
Jumped for joy when he said it. I was like, thank fuck for that. I finally got through this 2 hours of utter fucking bollocks.
Yeah. Man, that must have broke your, I'm surprised you did that as like a lead into really being a debunker too, because what a way to break your spirit. Wait a minute. I'm going to have to deal with fucks like this, doing this from now on. I'm not really sure.
By the time I got to about proof number 30, I was thinking, why the fuck did I take this on?
Oh, that's awesome. Dead Kennedy.
Considering that someone else has to suffer with me here. Hey, Jutmonk, 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball.
Why?
Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
Burn it with fire.
That's it. I'm doing a shit and it's going straight in your fucking face.
It's gonna hit the jar. I'll be fine.
Glober Mom wanted in here, guys.
I was just saying, Judd at least got the worst of it done first.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, because then it also gets happier, right? It's kind of like, it's like you move into a new place. The first thing you do is throw a party. And then that way, your neighbor relations have somewhere to go. They can improve. But if you move in and you're nice, how are you ever going to improve from that? Like, I'm not going to start kissing ass, right? So, you got to give yourself room. It makes sense to me. Let's see. Steaming Cup of Reason. What are you thinking, buddy?
I'm dying here. I'm just trying to plug my arsehole so it stops bleeding. God, this guy is unbelievable. If he was my yoga instructor, I would have committed suicide years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, just that voice. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's horrible.
He sounds like a man who has bodies in a freezer somewhere.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or parts of bodies because he ate the rest.
Guy and
right? Kevin, I'm so glad you said that because that was my thoughts exactly. I thought maybe I was just very dark somewhere. I don't know, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, somewhere in Thailand, he was found taking a young Thai boy off the street who was like wandering around all deluded, and he had a hole drilled in his head. That was him.
Yeah.
He is the next Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer, number 2. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
That was a reference to something that Jeffrey Dahmer did.
Yeah, that's probably the
I know.
straw hole.
We all know that Dubé loves to dress up in women's underwear whilst dancing on a table blindfolded, slapping himself round the face with a wet fucking kipper.
The wet fucking kipper.
Well,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Who else wants to jump in here? What about you, Andy Flatter?
All I know about the Bay is I'm sure he's got a brain cell. He just forgot how to turn the fucker on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So
Yeah, I can see
one of
his little... Oh, go ahead, buddy.
I can just picture Anthony Hopkins doing a sequel movie called Silence of the Flurfs, and Dubé is the main character.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Logical, you're up, buddy.
So I went today to go visit my 89-year-old mother-in-law, and she says, "Well, how is your little hobby on YouTube going?" So I said, Mom, it's kind of interesting. In the 1500s, we had Gutenberg and his printing press ushered in the age of reason. And then we had Magellan and Captain Cook ushered in the age of exploration. And then we had the industrial age, the space age, the information age. And now that we have more secondary and post-secondary educated people than any other time in history, we're now entering the anti-intellectual age. Now picture this a moment. 5 foot tall, 89-year-old, 90-pound soaking wet lady sitting in a recliner looking at me and saying, "Well, that's because they're a bunch of fucking idiots."
Brilliant. Which case we should get her on the show.
Oh, yeah, that was a really good idea.
Who just did that dinger? That was perfect.
That was Amy.
That was
Amy.
Thank you. That was me. Thank you.
Yeah. Amy knows how to get that in at just the right moment. That was awesome.
Yep.
The queen of the dinger.
So, anybody else want to lay a little smack down on this guy before we move on? Spaceman, did you want to throw down on this?
No, I have no more words about that at all.
You know
Please don't ever do that to me again, you sons of bitches.
To lighten the mood, I'll tell a joke.
Good.
Last night and night before, there was 3 women walking down the street that way. I seen them. I said, "Hey, you 3 women, why are y'all walking down the street that way? There's nothing down there." And they flew away. I said, "Oh, that was some birds."
I saw that video.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's funny.
I love that. I love that joke. That kills me.
Intelligence on display. So, what do you think then? I know Tattie's got a second video, and it looks like we're not running over or anything. Like, I'm shocked. I don't even know what to do at this point. It's fucking blowing my mind. But what I tell you is, I think we should do a little bit more shit stomping. What do you think here, everybody?
Go for it. Go for it.
Absolutely.
All right. So, what do you think there, Tattie, production extraordinaire? You want to cue up something else we can pick on, or?
I know. I have to say that this one is relatively novel on me as well. So I'm just going to reach for the whiskey, and then once we've got that nice and safely in my hands, here we go.
He's gonna do it again, people. He's reaching for booze. He's gonna really do it to us.
I had any left from yesterday.
That's always whiskey left, man.
That's the cream we had yesterday.
You have whiskey, I have prescription drugs, so there.
We have a Scotsman with a bottle of scotch and his finger on the play button. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Okay, troops.
Let's
Hold on
do
to
it.
your hats. Here it comes.
All right.
This magnifying glass represents our personal atmospheric dome by which we view celestial phenomena in our world. Believe it or not, everything we see is magnified by the water particles in the air. And so we're going to start over the North Pole, which is where Polaris is, the center of the flat Earth. And you can see as we go south, even though these are circles around the North Pole, it actually creates kind of a fictitious southern pole star there as we move out from the north, which would be south. You can also see how if you were in the north, you would see the moon right side up, and if you're in the south, you would see it upside down. And as
Oh my God!
What?
Tattie, who
What
picked
did I
this?
see?
Did you fucking hear that, Kevin? Go ahead, buddy.
Is this Colon again? Is this his
No.
fault?
Colon is innocent to this. Of this one.
Okay.
Well, at least Colin wasn't shitting on us this time.
I will say to everybody.
You know who suggested it.
Oh, I will say, speaking of suggestion, to everybody watching, over on our Discord server, there is a room where you can throw suggested videos in. So if you want to hand out some punishment and see how the team takes it, toss it in and we'll give her a go. Let's see how it works. I mean, if it gets really full, we can't do them all. But, yeah, we'll dig in there and do it. Let's go. So, sorry, Kevin, back to you, man.
Are you seeing the chat there? I think I see a call for something.
Oh.
No.
Absolute trouble.
About banging videos in that room at the very least, if they don't get played on the Shills, one of us might have a pop at them anyway.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Exactly. True.
Yep. It's awesome. Logical, you want it in, buddy.
What the fuck is a personal atmospheric dome? The only thing I've ever had to unzip when I go to hug babes is my goddamn pants. I've never had to unzip a dome, and there is no fucking southern pole star. It's a blank spot in space because there's no star there.
Personal actor. Good bowl of freaking chili. Have a good fart and you'd suffocate yourself.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Hey, Jutmonk, did you need to get in, buddy, or did I already?
No, what I don't understand is how the hell can he compare the atmosphere, which has countless different fucking conditions which make a difference in what you're looking at? How the fuck can he compare that to a magnifying glass?
Well,
reasons.
We're seeing it, but I don't believe it. It's just absolute.
Absolute fucking anus dribble.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's a good example of why you shouldn't clean your ears with a coat hanger.
Or pick your nose with a chainsaw.
Repeat it. This guy needs to repeat after me. Toilet plungers are not a way to solve constipation.
Exactly right.
No,
rocking.
I'm joking.
Okay. Well, Tatty, okay, let it run a bit more. Oh, man. Why the fuck did we give him the keys? What is going on here?
That was maniacal there a little bit, don't you? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Evil son of a bitch.
Exactly. I think you're thinking of being mind controlled by the Flurfs, I think.
Oh, that's too funny.
Better look into him.
Okay, you keep a watch on him, Mom. I'm not so sure about this guy.
As these stars do circles around us from east to west, you can see how in the south they would appear to be rotating in a counterclockwise direction as opposed to north.
Saturn, the
Hey,
most
I like that.
recognizable planet
I like
in our
it.
solar system. Look how bright it's lit up from our sun, which even from that distance looks just like every other star.
Oz.
No.
What the fuck was that image taken with? Taken with your fucking cell phone? Get a telescope.
Don't be
900, bitch.
Kevin. You can tell that's a painting.
Yeah, pixel painting.
It's absolutely stunning. What a stunning thing to look at. I don't know why they've got a problem with such an amazing fucking planet. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have actually got a telescope and looked at Saturn, but it's fucking fun.
Oh, it's awesome in mine, Jutmonk, absolutely. And somebody I know who have something to say on this, Casual Spaceman.
Why can't these people? Right, you can easily observe Saturn and its rings, and you can see them very clearly if you've got a half decent telescope. Why can't these people A, get a telescope themselves, or B, go to an amateur astronomist and view it yourself? Go and see it for yourself. No, absolutely not. It doesn't look like any other star. It really fucking doesn't. Have a look for yourself. That's all it takes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Are you suggesting a flat earther does their own research? Because right.
Exactly. It's like just it really doesn't take a lot of research. It really doesn't. Just there's literally millions of amateur astronomers around the world. There's lots of them. You can get in contact with them, and they'll gladly show you, and you can view Saturn yourself, and you can see the rings. They're there.
I know, it baffles me. The thing is, as well, looking at it and the shadows from the rings, it proves it's a globe. It's obvious.
Well, not only that, I mean, the movement of the planets themselves, it's not, they don't just move around us like that. They just don't. When you observe them with a telescope and you make the observations, you will see they've got a very peculiar movement to them. And I wonder why.
Yes.
Exactly. Dead Kennedy wanted in.
Well, I'm sending something to Tatty right now that I'm hoping we can show on screen in a moment. But I want to also provide an answer to Spaceman's question: why can't they get a telescope and do all these things? Geistview had a theory. If you're familiar with him, follow him on Twitter at Geist Astro. Fucking amazing astrophotography.
Right.
Short answer is, using a telescope is harder than buying a consumer grade camera and just pointing it at the sky.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They don't want to take the effort.
No. But I mean, you could speak to most amateurs, and they will gladly, allow you to come and view Saturn. Well, they'll do it together with you, and local astronomy societies, all that kind of thing will gladly show you that. They welcome any new people that want to come and see and find out more about the planets and things like that. Honestly, they really are hopeful and helpful, and I'm representative of that because I've got a whole lot of help from my local Astronomical Society. They're a bit too far away for me to go and visit them, but I have had tons of help from them, and they will gladly help, and they will show it all to you live.
Yeah,
you can see it yourself.
And
yeah, there's a few clubs locally to me, and everybody's like that as well. I'm always showing my neighbors and stuff. I've got a decent telescope and whatnot. Sorry, guys. Aimee was waiting to get in with some viewer stuff here.
Yes, please. I've got some really good comments. Ugly German Truth says, so why do planes get smaller the further away they are not larger? Same for houses or mountains. 9 o'clock Hero says, personal dome, known to most as an umbrella. Touchpad says toilet plungers are not for personal use. And Trippin' Fool says his dome, the cloud that follows him out of the shitter. DKG Custom says, I forgot the personal atmospheric dome was a joke concept from flat earth hater Walter Bislin, except they ran with the idea. Philosopher of Nonsense says Saturn doesn't need a dome to contain its atmosphere. Funny that. And then Ugly German Truth says, yes, there are about a half a dozen open nebulas in the Messier catalog. Gas pressure inside a vacuum.
Yeah, there you go. I love that one. That's a really good comment. Awesome. Dead Kennedy, you were waiting, buddy.
I was just, I'm pretty sure we've got the picture ready, and I wanted to show this to people. This was taken by JW Astronomy, and using his own home telescope. There you can see Saturn, you can see its rings, you can see, 1, 2, 3 of its moons, I think. And if you look in the kind of top right or top left area of the planet, you can see this dark spot that looks like it might be, I don't know, a shadow of a planet being cast on the rings.
And Kevin, be absolutely clear in this. Be absolutely clear. Was NASA involved in taking this photo at all, at any stage?
Absolutely 0% NASA involvement.
Oh, shocker.
Lies.
That's a thing of beauty.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Stars.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I love it, man. That's just so cool. And it does not take a lot of expensive gear to get a view that's maybe one step not as good as that, but still clearly that view. You know what I mean? Myself, the first decent telescope we had was I think about 5.5-inch reflector, Celestron, with a Barlow and a couple of better than stock eyepieces. We were rocking, man. We were seeing some really good stuff. Jutmonk, sorry, buddy, you were waiting there.
Yeah, apparently Phil Blacker says calling flirfs flatards is an insult. No, I'll fucking insult them, all right? That is not a fucking insult. Calling them an ejaculate dribble that's been forced out by diarrhea and dried up in the sun is a fucking flatard.
How about reality-denying gormless fucktards?
I like that one, Kevin.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. That was cool. Right on. That was almost shocking, you know. Oh man, I need to shake it off. Where do we go from here? Who wants to do what?
You do in private.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus, I gotta watch what I say around you guys. Fuck me.
Again, we don't need that either.
Oh, it's logical. Save me here, buddy. What the hell you got?
Oh, well, just like Spaceman said, the sun from Saturn does not look like any other star. It is 7 AU's distance between the Earth and Saturn, which means 8 AUs from the sun to Saturn, which basically means that the sun is 7 times smaller when viewed from Saturn than viewed from the Earth, because perspective, you know. But because it is so much closer than the rest of the stars out there in the field. All the sunshine and the photons are more tightly packed than that coming from the stars several hundred light years away. And starshine is a thing. If you don't think it's a thing, go out into the desert where there's no light pollution and no full moon in the middle of the night, and guess what? You will get starshine. It's gonna cast a little bit of shadow, not as much as the moon will do, not as much as the sun will do. Why? Because the photons are more scattered, because they are so much fucking farther away.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, what do you think, people? Should we let that roll a bit more? Tatty, you know that. Yeah, you know, Tatty, that everybody's like keeping score and wondering, you know, what they're going to owe you for this shit coming up. So, you know, keep that in mind.
What can I say, folks? Ready.
All right, let it roll, brother.
On the other side, how come that side's not lit up? Here are 3 reasons why people will think that they actually go to space with Blue Origin. 1, technically they do because they go above the Kármán line, which is the internationally recognized line for space. However, this is only 62 miles above the surface of the Earth, or about a quarter of the way to the supposed International Space Station. And in this beach ball example,
the International Space Station will be orbiting about a half an inch above the surface,
which means our travelers would only be going about 1/8 of an inch above the surface of this ball, not really going that high in terms of what we think of as space travel. 2, they will only experience simulated microgravity.
The definition of space is the vacuum. Once you're in the vacuum, you're in space. End of.
That's funny.
That's all I got.
The Kármán line really was just a convenient line. You know, it's an internationally recognized. In other words, everybody agreed that that 100 kilometers was just really a point that they can actually sort of say, okay, you're in space, and below that you're kind of not. But it's not. It is not in the strictest sense. You're necessarily
it's kind of arbitrary, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely arbitrary. Yeah, that's all it is. It's nothing. You know, we've got to draw a line. It just makes it simple for us simple mortal human beings to understand. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
But Kevin, dude, man, the atmosphere, the NASA tells us now that the atmosphere goes all the way out to the moon. So there's no space because there's an atmosphere out there, man. No vacuum in an atmosphere, man. Oh, no.
Clover Mom was waiting to get in there.
Yeah, I was getting back to the Saturn thing. I've looked up pictures of people taking pictures of Saturn with their P1000s, and you see the rings and the planet.
Yeah, I've seen those too. You can at least see the rings, if not the moons and the other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you got to put right into like.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I was gonna say those that say look, it's out of focus. I can't see it. Well, it's because out of focus. You don't know how to camera. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you know, when one of these new first timers, if they go and get like a reflector telescope, right, Newtonian, you've got to be able to collimate it properly, or else you're never going to get anything. And you know, we're talking about people who have to make up silly little excuses for gravity and stuff, so they're never going to learn collimation, right? So that's never going to happen. Dead Kennedy.
I just want to make a quick Nostradamus-style prediction here. I am betting somewhere in this video we will see watery stars / out of focus stars.
I'll take that bet with you.
I won't bet against that.
And
no, I won't either.
Here's the really funny thing about those is IB Hunter, sometimes he's here in the chat. I don't think he is today, but he's an astronomer, and he has a wonderful video where he took a picture of the Orion Nebula. And to do it, he finds one of the primary stars and starts focusing in on it. And before it's focused, it looks like a watery droplet.
Yep.
So that's my prediction. We're going to see watery stars.
Yeah.
Silence. Mr. Dawson.
Oh, Sorry. Since we've got a prediction on the table, I think it's time we definitely push forward and trudge into the depths of bullshit to see if Kevin Kennedy could be right. Let's roll the clip.
Because of the parabolic shape of the trip, just like a zero-G plane creates the illusion of microgravity. As its passengers freefall, they experience microgravity only relative to their vessel, which is also free-falling. Blue Origin simply creates a longer simulated microgravity experience by going higher. 3. Even though they will only be an eighth of an inch above our beach ball example, they will likely
we can't see the video
Earth due to something.
We can't see the video.
It was on one of the screens.
There we go.
Refraction, which occurs when viewing a level surface through a lens created by the atmosphere at a downward trajectory. See this example of how when viewing this level beam through the lens, the sides are bent downward, creating the illusion of curvature when in fact the beam is perfectly level. And that is how it will be possible for people to claim that they went to space on a flat, non-rotating Earth where space does not exist outside our enclosed, motionless system.
The Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
This magnifying glass represents our personal atmospheric dome by which...
Make that idiot stop for a second.
Heard that goddamn quote. You know where that quote's from? The Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
No.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
You're kidding.
They're taking him out of fucking context.
Well, yeah, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
He was probably talking about closed system, as in, like, you know, that's why helicopters still spin with the Earth when they lift off.
It was either that or we're not at a point in technology where we can colonize other planets.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's a good one, too. Yeah. But, yeah, definitely cherry-picked. Spaceman, you were waiting there, buddy.
So let me get this straight. Was he actually saying that the people that went into space and saw the Earth didn't actually see the Earth? They were looking through a lens that was curved, and therefore they just saw curvature.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he's saying.
Exactly what he's saying.
Right, so all those freaking astronauts that have gone into space have actually been watching CGI through a curved lens. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, it's easier than that. The astronauts are in on it, so they just lie.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, fuck me.
And did you guys notice the trick he tried to pull with the camera and that ceiling beam? That ceiling beam didn't look curved to me. You know, he was just bouncing the damn camera around so fast you couldn't focus on it and really for most people, pay attention. But I knew this was coming, so I was looking. And you know what? It didn't curve on the ends. Any freeze frame you put on that, frame by frame, will never show curved ends on that I-beam.
Yeah, no, the at best you might get a tiny bit of screen tearing due to refresh rate or something, and you know, different screens or something. But all that would do is layer two direct straight angles of the beam just slightly in different places. It would still not be curved in any way, right? So no way. It's just complete bullshit. I think that's part of the reason why he was moving the camera back and forth so fast, so that somebody just staring in the middle would go, oh, look, yeah, you know?
Uh-oh, we need to call the medics. I think we broke Mippet 69. He says his brain is bleeding out of his ears. Help required. We're breaking our audience. Oh, my God.
This happened to me once. You just need a jar. And, well, I can't disclose the name of the liquid. They won't let me. Sorry. Yeah, you're screwed.
It's not vodka.
It starts with S, and we watered it down.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I was going to say sulfur. What were you guys thinking?
Yeah. We better get to Aimee and see what the chat's saying here.
Yeah, we've got some good ones too. Irish Stew says, if space doesn't exist, why do we need a dome? If we have a dome, what's on the other side of it? Ugly German Truth says, Dead Kennedy in Space, if we manage to keep people alive in the ISS for a year or longer, we can colonize a different planet. It just would have the same dependency on supplies sent from Earth as ISS. And Philosopher of Nonsense says, so did they see the same curve through their helmets? Doubt it. And Colon says, within the laws of thermodynamics, we take the Earth as closed system to discount all the variables from fucking space when calculating shit, but in relative time, it's an open system in perpetuity. And then poor My Pet still has the bleeding brain. And then DKG Custom says, why is it they come up with effects that cause the Earth to look curved, but they claim that the Earth is observably flat and horizon always rises to eye level, except when it doesn't?
Oh, that's good, right? We always get such good stuff.
In response to Ugly German Truths, yes, I agree. We're getting damn close to colonizing another planet. If I'm correct, within 50 years. I believe the predictions are within 50 years. I think SpaceX is like 2 years ahead of NASA in terms of planning, but we shall see.
I was like, tell my boy, his is probably going to be the first generation that goes out into space and colonizes it, and we're going to be the last generation that got stuck here.
That NASA astronaut trainee that I spoke to on Twitter, that's like her whole thing is we are the Mars generation, and I'm like, yes, it's happening, we're going. This is why this period in time is really exciting to me, because people don't realize it, because I think it's due to the spread of information. There's so much going on at once now, but we are in the second space race, and everybody should be as excited as we were in the 60s when we were going to go to the moon. It's going to happen in our lifetime. We're going to see people land on Mars.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be stuck here with all the goddamn flat earthers because I'm too old and fat to lift into space. It's too damned expensive.
Yeah. Well, I'm too old, so I'm not going either. That's for sure. But I want to say this. I'm really excited to see, although I don't think I'll live long enough to see it, what will be the transformation in human evolution on a different galactic body?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
It is,
yeah. Man.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're talking about, if we're going to talk about Mars, obviously, first of all, the gravity's different from Mars. I mean, that's unavoidable. We can create habitats where we can actually breathe. So, in terms of sort of our
what is the gravity on Mars again?
A third. Yeah. Okay. So they I think there probably would be some biological changes in that regard. There has to be, in some respects. Our biology is made up, obviously, to cope with 1G, so that's going to be different. Obviously, unless we can actually terraform Mars, in which case then that could change. But the gravity is always going to stay the same. But breathing, that probably will be the same, because we'll have to create our own habitats to do that. But who knows? You could evolve into species that could actually breathe on Mars. As the film goes with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who knows? But I mean, that's
how amazing would that be to have, thousands and thousands of years in the future. Human evolution has diverged to a point where there's Earth humans, there's Mars humans who are adapted for low gravity, there's European humans who are adapted to live in the water.
Whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Interesting question. Yeah, but I mean, going back to that point that somebody made as well about that, if we inhabited or another planetary body, there would be a certain dependency of supplies from Earth, for the foreseeable future, absolutely. But in order to habitate another planet, I think eventually you'd need to actually become independent from Earth in order to do that, because not just the practicalities of continuous supplies from another planet, and also on the long term, but you'd certainly want a certain amount of independence. But then, you just don't know how a society would develop on Mars as well. That could be a completely different thing. So they actually might want independence from Earth after a while anyway. Let's grow our own food and produce our own water and whatever we need.
2041, the Martian insurgency starts. The Martian separatist movement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's funny. But, there's lots of weird shit like that coming for sure as it goes. Talking about supplies, it's going to work one of two ways. We either keep sending supplies to a place like Mars or blah, blah, or whatever that's local, or we have to do some kind of bulk up to send it on the big ship to really go somewhere far. Because, there's no point in sending supply ships to Alpha Centauri or something, right? Don't worry. Just let it burn. We'll get you the extinguisher in about 30,000 years. It's okay, So
that kind of reminds me of Project Daedalus. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
It was the one that, if I remember correctly, the plan was to continuously increase the speed of the vessel by dropping nuclear explosives behind it. And eventually it would reach something like a 16th the speed of light. And
that's crazy.
And we could get to Barnard's star in about 50 years.
Wow.
But you see, the problem with that kind of thing as well is you use a lot of energy actually sort of getting to the speed you actually want to. But if you get into your destination, you need to use a lot of energy actually slowing down again.
That's true. Yeah, you'd need
do the opposite.
You'd need half of the explosives would be to speed up, and half of them would be to slow down again.
Which would mean that you would make the place you're slowing down to, stop and say hi, basically a wasteland, right? So that's not really the best idea, maybe. I'm sorry, guys. Logical was waiting there for a bit.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the colonization of Mars. I don't know if anybody's seen the series Mars, but they just played season 2 on Netflix. And they posed an interesting idea where one of the scientific colonists became pregnant, and they were concerned with its organ and skeletal development in utero and then growing up after birth. And they made the statement, and they're probably very accurate, that a child born on Mars who then has been adapted to Mars would never be able to return to Earth. So if their mission had become canceled, they'd have to stay there with the kid.
Yep. That's a wicked question to address. I thought that was amazing how they did it too. As it's true, if you follow through, you are committing to what? What if governments change and somebody goes, no, we're not funding your supply runs anymore. Oh, okay. Let's all sit around and count down until the hour we have no more oxygen or something. Like, what do?
Yeah,
you die. Ouch, man, ouch. Steaming Cup of Reason, you were waiting there, buddy.
Yeah, going back to the idea of Project Daedalus and the idea that we'd need equal amounts of energy to slow down when we get there. That I don't think is really the case. If you guys remember a movie from back in the 80s, 2010, Space Odyssey 2.
I loved it, yeah.
They actually introduced a concept of something called a ballute, which is like a huge balloon, and then they used Jupiter's atmosphere to actually do atmospheric braking and put them into an orbit. I think they probably accomplished that in the same way.
Yeah, good point.
Would that work at the speeds we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the question. But
it would have to be a pretty large planet with a thick atmosphere. What you're talking about, I think, is atmospheric braking, aren't you? I think, and the gravity at the same time. Yeah.
Of course, there are many variables, but the basic concept is viable.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, just as long as we hope once we get there that there is a large enough planet with a thick enough atmosphere to pull that maneuver off.
Yeah,
exactly.
I just got to jump in here quick. Bo Nielsen says, hey, with YouTube making a mess of the algorithm, why isn't there a Shill homepage with links and notifications for what we're doing? And it's a very good point. We're actually in the middle of doing that right now, because coming up, the Shills channel is going to evolve a bit, and we've got more shows and more content coming. And as such, we can't follow along with YouTube's mess right now. So there's a web page in development where they will be instant notifications posted. There's also the Twitter account. We always use the Twitter account to shill out everything that we're doing and some of our friends as well. So going forward, there will be a properly set up homepage, and it'll have links to, any kind of t-shirts if people decide they want to buy that. I'm not going to, go on and on about that right now. That's not the point. But that is coming very much.
Thanks, Letter.
Please do something like.
Yeah. Okay. And so anyway, I just wanted to address that because we have that all coming very soon. Great point, Bo. Thank you. Awesome. So I interrupted. We were talking about people, Mars. Where were we? Damn it. I screwed it up.
Yeah, basically colonizing other worlds.
Yeah, colonizing.
That's it.
The human race is moving on. I think the colonization is really going to require the concept of generational shifts and generational travel. Like the people who leave on the journey will not be the ones to actually settle.
That's right, and that becomes a massive question of ethics then as well, because we are going to have a generation of people born to take on a journey that they never signed up for, man. How does that work? That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it is. But
Fun fact:
the distances and scales we're talking about, it's going to have to be.
Fun fact: what we're talking about, the ethical issue of people being born into a mission that they had no choice in. I wrote that book.
Yeah, that's right.
Project Nomad actually deals with exactly that. It's a journey that took, I think, like 500 years is what I wrote. I wrote it a long time ago. And
oh damn, another book I'm gonna have to overpay for.
Wait, no, you bought Hunter Seeker.
I bought Hunter Seeker. Yeah.
So you got the first one in that series.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
But it's an interesting question. Yeah, this whole, I had no choice in this. I could have been on Earth. I could have stayed. And yeah, buy my book.
But another interesting point I'd like to make, if they do put man on Mars by 2030, and I'm still alive to see that, I will proudly be able to say that I've seen it happen twice. I've seen it happen when I was an 8-year-old boy with the Apollo missions on the moon.
That's right.
And I'll get to see it again with Mars. Think about that. For a human being like me to actually have witnessed such an event twice in his lifetime, that would be so wicked.
Yeah, I was born after. I was born in 1970, so I didn't witness it. Although obviously seen videos and all the rest of it as well. But ever since I saw that newspaper clipping, I've often talked about. I've always heard about going to Mars, and actually for a number of years, I kind of lost interest because we had the space program and they're putting all the efforts into International Space Station eventually, and all that kind of stuff. We were all interested in low Earth orbit and experimentation. And actually, for a long time, I lost interest. But now my interest has been piqued a little bit because it looks like people are physically talking about. But with or without NASA and with or without governments, okay, I can tell you now, somebody is going to Mars in my lifetime, and that freaking excites me. Whether it's a commercial company that makes it before anybody else, so be it. But
it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But I think probably what will happen, and I hope this does happen in my lifetime, that there will be a massive international effort, and it will also involve lots of different commercial companies as well. I think that's probably what happened. Just like that series that Logical Troglodyte was talking about, the Mars. I recommend anybody go and watch that as well, and that's pretty much what happened. And I think that's very realistic because I don't think any single agency or any single commercial company are probably going to do it on their own. I think Elon Musk, is being a bit too ambitious that he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to happen on his own. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen personally.
I agree there. Jutmonk, you were waiting there, buddy.
Yeah, I had a right nightmare, man. I was fucking swinging through the trees and I booted my drink all over the floor. I was going to swear then. I can swear, can't I? All over the fucking floor. So, fucking everywhere, man. What an absolute nightmare.
Well, see, this
now
is
you
what
know how it feels when you got to clean your shit after you throw it everywhere.
Well, yeah, but you like that part. I like watching you.
Monk, you don't need a living room. You need a habitat, and then shit like this wouldn't happen all the time, man.
Yeah, but you see, it's true. But going back to what you've just said, Flower, I mean, I want the shit there. I'd like to leave it there. Why do you keep cleaning it off?
Because that's where I eat.
Yes, but that's where I eat.
Oh, no, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
Marmite.
Yeah, Dead Kennedy, save us here, buddy, save us.
Absolutely, I'm gonna go full science. Going back to we were talking about like potential interstellar voyages and things like that, and Project Daedalus or Project Orion. How would projects like that slow down? Fun fact: Project Daedalus, the plan was to not slow down. They had no plan to slow down. They were just going to fly past their targets at 12% the speed of light and collect as much data as they could and send it back towards Earth.
Wow. Whoa. That's a bit like Marvin Martian combined with Johnny Bravo in a plan, you know? Hey, it doesn't matter, man. Let's just do it. Let's just get going.
It's kind of like Voyager 1 and 2, right? Like there's no end goal for them. It's just keep going.
Yeah, keep going until we can no longer communicate, right? Yep. Just go.
Which, hey, Spaceman, are either of the Voyager craft out of the Oort cloud yet?
No, because the Oort cloud is huge. It's going to take long, thousands and thousands of years by the time it gets out of that. Thousands of years.
Really? That long?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Even at those speeds, that's incredible, man. It really gives a sense of scale. Yes, I said it, Flurf. Scale.
Yeah. I mean, if you think that, you know, it's only really just getting onto the edge of our solar system. It's not got the Oort cloud, and that's what taken. When was that launched? 40-something years ago. I can't think what my dates are at the moment.
Yeah,
40 years ago, and it's taken that freaking long to get there. You know, it's taken longer than it was launched before a lot of people probably on the chat here were born and on this panel were born, and it's taken that long to get to. And if you think how far away our nearest star is to our solar system, Alpha Centauri, which is what, 7.5 light years, is it? Have I got that figure right?
That, yeah.
You know, I mean, not even a tiny fraction of that yet, and that's taken 42 years to get there. It's incredible, it really is.
You know what? Here's another fun fact. I'm an idiot. I should have known this already, because here's the thing. That game, Elite Dangerous, that I was talking about earlier, thank you for the dinger. That game takes place about 1,200 years in the future, and you can go to Earth and you can go to Voyager 1, and it's about a 45-minute trip at several thousand times the speed of light.
Jeez.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy cool. Yep. I have to try this, man. Fuck. You kids and your fancy games.
You had asteroids. I mean, come on.
I have a PC plugged in the living room, and it's all the old retro games. And if somebody says, "Oh, you got video games," I'm like, "Well, yeah, but it's not going to be what you're expecting."
Speaking of retro games, does anyone know the name of that really, really old? It's like one of the first games. It was designed on a military computer, I think.
Space War.
Is that the one that uses gravity?
Yeah. Space War had some physics in it, and it was designed on like the big, huge. It takes up like the entire basement of the university computers, right?
Wow,
I remember it because the whole thing was the player character, whatever it is a ship or something, orbits a planet, doesn't it?
Oh, you might be talking about something different then. I think Space War was a little more primitive. But
I think he's thinking of Defender.
I'll look them up.
Yeah. Defender. I love that one. That was awesome. Yeah. Well,
I found it. It was Space War because I was slightly wrong. Space War is about two ships in a dogfight while maneuvering in the gravity well of a star. So,
okay.
There's the gravity influence of a star in one of the first video games ever.
Yeah, Nolan Bushnell saw Space War and went off and founded Atari to make Space War as an arcade game. And it was too complicated for normal people because it was designed by, university engineers and stuff, right? And so they backtracked and created Pong and put that out. Boom, there goes Atari. But that's how it plays in.
Yeah.
Actually, if we're talking about just kind of video game design and computers and the way they've shaped the things we know, another fun fact about Elite Dangerous, that game's universe is the biggest universe in video game history. It is a 1-to-1 scale replica of the Milky Way.
Wow.
Literally hundreds of billions of stars that you can visit. And
awesome.
Oh my God, it's incredible. And I kind of got lost in what I was saying there. Someone help me. I'm all nervous now.
We'll do that.
No.
I'm fucking best at it, pal.
Right. I remember what I was going to say now. Yeah, it was. It's this 1-to-1 scale replica of the Milky Way, and if you're familiar with exoplanets, there was one discovered a little while ago called TRAPPIST-1. It's an ultra cool red dwarf that has 5 planets orbiting it, and it was in Elite Dangerous before they found it, more or less in the right place.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that?
That is very cool.
Love that. That's awesome. That is absolutely cool. I'm looking at the time, guys. I'm wondering if we shouldn't get a roundtable wrap up in here. We're starting to run to that, period that we like to call it. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I'd like to say, Global Mum, can I have a hug?
Yes, Jet, you can. Come here, baby.
Oh,
there you go.
thanks.
Is that all better? Okay.
Oh, I tell you what, she gives the best hugs. Aimee, top hugs, but they're a little bit more fruity.
Good. Well, Glover Mom, when you're done here, go have a shower, please.
I will. Your mom sacrifice, okay?
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
I did have a shower 4 years ago. From Zoom.
Yeah, just draw the line if he tries to breastfeed, okay? Just don't let it happen.
That's not going to happen. Sorry. Sorry. That's not happening.
I'd like to shout out to a few people. There's like Bandsaw Bandits in the house. Ugly German, Mr. Victory. Streamlabs is all over the place. And he's just talking gibberish to me, that dumbass Streamlab.
He does, doesn't he?
Erant Massa, Chris O, John McMunn, DK, GC, or G Customs. Oh, I've got a bigger screen and I can't see it. And of course, Kolar. Oh, and the Shills are in the chat. Hello, Shills.
Well, he's not the drunk monkey for nothing, people.
Now we know how he cleaned up his drink when it spilled.
Too funny. So, who wants to jump in with the little wrap-up stuff on Dubay or, what we've seen and whatnot? Who wants the floor here? Take it away for me.
Well, the flat earthers keep trying to blow up the globe and prove they're not trying to prove the flat earth. They're just trying to disprove the globe. They're like Martian. I gotta quit drinking on these streams. They're like Marvin the Martian. There was no earth-shattering kaboom. What happened to the earth-shattering kaboom? They're a bunch of morons. Read a fucking book and watch the Logic and Reason show later tonight and keep up with the Shills. We'll learn you a thing or three.
There you go. I love it. I love it. What about you, Stephen Cup of Reason?
Well, as far as Dubay goes, I mean, the only thing I can really say is
in my glass.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after this show, I'm gonna have to just pop the cork,
Oh man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's been great. I really enjoyed the second part of the show with the discussion about future space travel to other planets and colonizing.
Yeah, that was great, eh?
Yeah.
Spontaneous.
Really
that was awesome.
But I gotta say, man, if the Shills ever manage to make it onto one of those ships, I don't want to be on the same ship as Jutmonk. Sorry, man, but I can't take 6 months in space with floating monkey shit.
Would that be a shit ship?
I mean, I'll wear a napkin. Okay?
All right. Well, if you do that, then that'll be okay. But
Yeah,
Doesn't
we'll
mean
have to spend an extra 100,000 for Depends just to get them on board and have enough. We got a good shout out here, super chat in from Mr. Victory, $10. Thank you very much, buddy, because all you guys are awesomely awesome. Well, how could we not read that out right away? Thank you, Mr. Victory. That's amazing, buddy.
We're awesomely awesome.
Hi, Riley.
Are absolutely fucking awesome as fuck to be here supporting us and watching us and enjoying our bollocks.
Exactly. Exactly.
I just want to give one final shout out one final shout out to remind folks to come and join us later this evening, for me anyway. Logic and Reason. We're going to be doing anti-vax, so we look forward to seeing you all there. And prior to that, the big premiere of Anti-Flatter and I's collab. That's going to be awesome.
Awesome. I can't wait for that. Yeah. Right on. Let's go to Dead Kennedy here.
Fuck Flat Earth. Fuck Eric Dubé. I hope he gets thrown into an incinerator located somewhere in Germany, which I will not specify.
Can I watch?
Oh, jeez.
This stream has been amazing, and I love you all.
Yeah, I love you too, Kevin, man.
You too, brother.
And you're right. Fuck Flat Earth. What a pile of fucking toilet.
Yeah. Let's see the hashtag, everybody. Fuck Flat Earth. I love it. I love it. Let's switch over to Anti-Flatter here.
Just remind everyone that, like Jeff said about the premiere this evening, or this, I don't know time zones. Just people just talk to Jeff if you need to know when it is. And because we were cut off earlier, I'm just going to say it now. Marmite is the semen of the gods.
You have cool gods.
Oh man, you tell Zeus to keep that dick stick away from my toast, motherfucker.
You know what, guys? I thought I went a little over the line with that joke, but then Ugly German Truths came back with, I do not want Dubé ash in my breathing ear.
Okay, who else do we have to get to here? Aimee Hogan, jump in here. What do you want to say here for the wrap up?
That Vegemite crap, and everybody makes fun of me for my Cotton. I don't know. It's
yeah, what the hell, right?
I know, exactly. It's not that bad, people. And Eric Dubé is a giant loser, and excuse my language, but he is a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
there you go.
Loser. You're a loser.
Exactly. Huge loser.
Awesome.
And I just want to say thank you for everyone for coming, and thank you, Glober Mom and Casual Spaceman, for coming on as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And let's see if Tattie-Bogle, our wonderful producer, has the balls after showing us that to step up and say anything now.
Oh, dear Christ and God. I love those videos, man. Those were particularly stupid, and it was my pleasure to inflict them upon you.
Wonderful.
Very Shiltastic. It was awesome.
Oh, but no, definitely, right. Folks, especially those in the UK and Europe, do not miss this stream tomorrow, man, on the Logic and Reason. 12 GMT.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's got to remember the Logic and Reason show coming up. Anti-vax special. Cannot miss
that's
that,
going
right,
to be
Tatty?
brilliant. That is going to be brilliant.
Absolutely. So, did I miss anybody here, or is it time to go to our guests and close her down?
Yeah,
I think I got everybody in, right?
You have done it, mate. You've done it.
All right. So, Glober Mom, thoughts and wrap-ups. The floor is yours, my friend.
Let's just keep fighting stupid and sorry, and if I can show my special, can I do that?
Absolutely.
You can do whatever you like, darling.
Well, my 333 sub special is split into threes. So the first installment is this Wednesday, and it's at 2 p.m. my time, but 10 p.m. UTC time on Wednesday. And it's about someone who likes to say loser, globe turd of shit, sack of shit, loser. Go ahead. Okay.
Rockin'. Fucking love it.
Who is in it? Okay.
I love it. Right on. I can't wait. And to close us down, let's turn to the man himself, Casual Spaceman. The floor is yours, buddy.
I have had an absolute ball tonight, considering I'm still sick. I'm absolutely beaming. First of all, I'll get on a stream with a real bona fide NASA engineer, who, by the way, those of you who don't know, he was actually involved in the team that saved Apollo 13. You know, the I'm going to post a link in the chat, which I've just posted there now, with James Skipper. That was a certificate he got from the Apollo 13 team, really just congratulating them on solving the issue. And the problem that he worked on, as we all know, was when they had the problem with the carbon monoxide building up in the spacecraft.
Oh, yeah.
He was part of the team that solved that issue. So, you know, he was part of a team that actually saved their lives. You know, this guy is just so cool. So
that's brilliant.
How cool is it to go to your grave knowing that you helped save Tom Hanks? That's amazing.
I would have, if it was Tom Hanks, I would have just let him die. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Really great part. So yeah, I get so thanks, Mr. Sensible, to him for allowing me to be a part of that. It was absolutely cool. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done. And then later on, I come on to you guys and get to talk about stuff that I'm interested in as well. And I love talking about all that. And I also have a laugh with you guys as well. So, you know, thanks very much. I had an absolute ball tonight, so appreciate it. And that's really all I've got to say. In terms of my channel, I'm not really sure. It all just depends on how things progress and how it get better. But what I will say is, in the next few days, I'm doing a little collab with AB Science, so look out for that.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. Kevin, you need to jump in there, buddy.
One last thing I want to say before we go. Dark Knight Apologetics, I believe you're still watching. We want to get you on a show sometime soon if you're interested. So if you can, send me a message on Discord or something, and we'll get it set up.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that already. That would be great. And I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the Silly Shill Show has come to a close. We saw the stupid, we watched the stupid, and we conquered the stupid, just like you're supposed to do in this life, folks. So let me give a big thank you to Glober Mom and the Casual Spaceman for joining us on what was a fantastic episode. You guys rocked.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was awesome. To the rest of the table, as always, you're the greatest team ever, and I'm so happy to call you family. Ladies and gentlemen, Flat Earth can be a disease that can take you down and kick your ass. Defend yourself. It's called knowledge. Go get some. You can find it in a book. They won't bite. Trust me. Put the phone down and read a book. We loved entertaining you tonight, folks. What do you say, everybody? Let's say goodnight. We're out of here.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
See you all on Logic and Reason.